Hey, it's Cody from the Keepers of Madness. How are you all? We just got back from seeing Doctor Strange 2, The Multiverse of Madness, and wanted to give, first off, a spoiler-free review, and then talk a little bit about spoilers after the fact. So just know I'll warn you before we start any spoilers. But let's talk for a second. So overall, this movie is a sprawling film. Tries to really give an idea, or at least it attempts to. It attempts to be a sprawling film. That's what's really interesting when you get down into the brass tacks of it. This film really is about a self discovery, a little bit of an empowerment movie, I suppose. Uh, when you get down into the bottom of this, it really is a just believe in yourself kind of movie, and that's an interesting thing to go through. Overall, it is a spectacle, right? And Sam Raimi directs this film. So the original Spider-Man trilogy, he's back here for this. Uh, Interesting. We saw it. We were really looking forward to the concepts. What would we see? What would we experience? And what we got, there's a lot of good there. There's a lot of interesting things. There's a lot of fun. But we also when we were driving home, my wife, I was shocked because she was kind of the first one to speak, and she was like, "There's just things that didn't quite, they weren't handled as well as they could, right? That they needed some more time in the oven." And as I was thinking about it, I was like, "Yeah, there's some actual plot holes here that there's easier solutions to some of these situations and issues, and it is in some ways about a lot of just." Believe in yourself kind of thing. And well, not a terrible message by any means. It just doesn't lend itself well to a movie of depth, of clarity, and then with some potential plot hole issues. I think that's one thing our culture has lost recently, that as long as there's good action and everything's colorful and bright, it feels like our culture is dumbed down to the point where we accept that as okay. And it's just that's not a good reasoning for things, because if a film doesn't have a good plot behind it, it's got serious issues. I mean, I think often, there's such a debate between so many people with the Star Wars films, the recent trilogy, because it has plot issues. It has issues of either repetition of previous things, or it doesn't really seek to drive a story by character development. We have a character that's already as good as they're going to get, that just somehow they're like already good at things. And then when they somehow technically improve, it's not by any direct power of anyone else. It's just somehow they're better. And then they finally showed in the very last film some connection of, hey, there's some training that happened, which is good. It should be shown, but otherwise it's just, they have this ability, they can do this. Why? I don't know. They're just that good, which just doesn't make for good storytelling. It doesn't. It does not lend itself well. So, Doctor Strange 2. If I had to give it a rating, I would say it is an average film, probably in the 5 or 6 on a 10 scale. Not bad by any means, and there's some great stuff in it, and then there's just stuff that's just not that good. And so it's right in that middle of average. And so one of the things that I'd really want to do with it is go into some spoiler-free stuff, right? And or now let's go into actual spoilers. Sorry. Um, this is a big one because, all right, this is warning, right? Spoilers. So first off, this is a movie that focuses completely on American Chavez. So it's a heroine. Terrible word that we have for that, but she's fun. She's a good character. It was a little bit funny that they threw just some of, I don't know, just agenda stuff into the film with some of her character development, but at least they showed character development, like of who she was. That was good. But in the end, you really get with her a moment of just believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. And no training happens to help her with her powers prior to the conclusion of the film, and then she can just use them. It's very much a Captain Marvel kind of situation again, which is a plot hole of pretty epic proportions, or at least dumb, just dumb. But she's looking for help to keep her from being attacked by demons, and then turns to Doctor Strange. But the other one right before him tried to kill her because if he could kill her, then he could save the multiverse, which actually, ironically, not a terrible motivation. And ironic, like when you stop to think about it, save the entirety of the countless trillions, quadrillions, whatever number you want to put on it, right, of the multiverse for the life of one person by making sure that power can't be used by Scarlet Witch, right? And that's the other thing, like Scarlet Witch becomes the villain in this film. Why? Because she is wanting her boys. And she's going to go into another universe, right? And get these boys. But okay, and she's not like going to bring them back over here. She's just going to be their mom. And what's interesting is throughout the film we start seeing that she can dream walk, and this is kind of like a horror film in a way, like a lighter horror film, because there's moments where it's just creepy jump scare things, which fine, cool. It's kind of a different take on stuff, which is fun, but it's bizarre, right? Because we've not had this in the MCU, that's fine. I'm excited for that, but it's bizarre timing because all of a sudden you're like, Scarlet Witch has gone pure psycho, and the fact that she can dream walk and be with her kids anytime she technically wants, what's preventing her from just sitting and doing it and just being with them at any point? I don't get it. Like, she just inhabit the other Scarlet Witch's body and watch the movie with her boys and kiss them, and she's good. Then she doesn't have to take them to the soccer games. She can pop in after she's taken them to the soccer games and watch the soccer games. I mean, just because especially I say that because at the end when she sees her kids afraid of her, and then the other Scarlet Witch going, they'll be taken care of. They have a mom. It's like, all right, so then now we're good. Resolution over. And it's like everybody else is telling her, what are your kids going to think? What are your kids going to think? And then she finally sees like, oh, what are my kids going to think? You think? It's almost like people have been trying to tell you something. So, I don't know. It's a movie that had some weird spots. Now, here's the bright spot, right? Bright spot on a negative spot. First off, they traveled through different dimensions and you see some things, which is cool. But we didn't get to stay any time in most of them. And so we didn't get to actually see some extra, just random cameos. And that was super dumb. Like, they should have had some more cameos because it deserves it. This is awesome. But then when they finally get to the universe that they're going to show, those cameos are amazing. The people that we see, and you know what? I'm just going to keep those to myself, but I'll just say this. The people that we see, some of them are, like mid-tier, like cool, right? There's like two of them. And then we see one person that we know from the What If stuff that is just on next level. It was really cool to see in live action. And then a character that we've been hoping for ages. Amazing. And the character we've seen. But truly have him in this way. It was really, really cool. Yeah, actually, I guess there's three of them that were just kind of, okay. It's just interesting. But then the other three were amazing to see. And those were great. And then we have Doctor Strange run into another version of himself, which I'm pretty sure, not 100% right, that it was the Doctor Strange from What If, the dark Doctor Strange. But I'm like, is it? Or is it just one that's similar? I don't know. And that was interesting. And then we have a conclusion in this film of after he, tells her to believe in herself. I'm trying to actually spoil some, but leave a little bit to mystery. So if you still want to go see it if you've listened to this. But it's that whole thing of believe in yourself, and then she does, and then all of a sudden she can just open portals and it's all good and it's easy as long as she punches somebody. When it's like the clips that we saw in film were that she reacted with this out of anxiety and stress. That's when she opened portals to another dimensions. So I don't know. It didn't quite click, and just believing in yourself and all of a sudden being like, I know how to do it. And then she's in training at the end of the film as a sorcerer. Why? You can open portals into other dimensions. And I get it, actually. I mean, the reasoning, like, then she can actually defend herself. That makes sense, but it's funny just because then it's like, well, if you just believe in yourself, you can do whatever you want. And then they're going to train her afterwards. And it's like, she's already apparently great, and then she can't do the training at all. And it's like, you didn't have any training, and now you can open portals like it's easy. Okay, whatever. And then she can just open portals at will, and she's coming to get us. And sure enough, she's there. It's just weird. It doesn't work. It's a Captain Marvel thing again, where it's just believe in yourself, and she pulls off the thing, and the only thing holding me down was everybody else, not me. Okay, whatever. Magic was really cool. Magic stuff was fun to see. Scarlet Witch, it's sad to see her as a villain, but at the same time, like, story-wise, it made sense. It was interesting. It was dark. It was creepy. Yeah, it was good. It was just weird to finally see it come to fruition, and that reality, like, woof, geez, she is terrifying. She's more terrifying than Thanos. And yeah. So overall, it's a movie that exists, and I would watch it again, but it's not a movie that I really enjoy it. I'll be honest. One thing that's like, I enjoy parts of it, but then the overarching stuff was just not that great. So good movie, almost, right? But not bad. Does that make sense? Like, it's not the worst thing ever, but it's definitely got some issues that it should have had a little bit more time baking in the oven. Man, I don't know. I'm trying to think what else to say on it, because there's one other little piece I wanted to tell you guys. But overall, I think it's at least worth a watch, especially just for the alternate universe scenes where Doctor Strange meets some people. Cool. Very cool. Also, that was something my wife noticed. That was it. So during the fight scenes against Scarlet Witch versus a lot of these superheroes from this alternate dimension, it was very funny because she noticed that the guys all went down super fast in the beginning fight. Like, dumb. Very dumb. Like, one of the most powerful creatures in, people in the Marvel universe in some ways. She just wrecks instantly. Which, okay, I get it. Makes perfect sense. And I wouldn't have a problem with it at all. And my wife pointed this out, and I was like, interesting. She's like, it seemed like the women had a longer fight. And with one of them, it makes sense because they're on that power level. Totally does. But the other one, it was funny because Scarlet Witch destroys these first two just like that. She just like snaps her fingers and does her stuff, like, and insta kills them, essentially. And then with one of these people who's just a human with some extra, slightly, she just lets this person beat on her for a while. And you're like, snap your freaking fingers. You didn't have to use another tool or device to kill this person, which is what Scarlet Witch did. It's like, snap your freaking fingers. That's all you have to do. Just snap them. And it's over. Turn her into a red paste. Turn that person into red paste. It didn't make sense. The one that's super powerful that fights Scarlet Witch made sense for a fight, totally. But the other one's like, no. And how the person dies was pretty epic. I'll give him that. But it was just like, this fight should not continue. There's no reason that this person should still be alive this long. It's only for, like, I guess, girl power? I don't know. It was weird. Anyway, sorry. I guess I am more negative once I talk through it. It's strange. Right? It's got some good stuff in it. Oh, that's what it was. Wong. like Wong being Sorcerer Supreme, it's just funny because he just doesn't feel. I guess it's Doctor Strange's own cockiness. Like he just feels like he would be the Sorcerer Supreme. And granted, he's been dusted for 5 years, so it makes sense in lore. But it's also like, I don't know, Wong's just too subdued to be a leader. I like the character and I like the actor a lot. He's a lot of fun, but he just doesn't feel like a strong leader, if that makes sense at all. I don't know, something about that. So overall, I'm kind of wondering at points, like, is the MCU in a weird phase? I don't know. The last movie we had was awesome. Spider-Man. Spider-Man was amazing. It was so much fun. I think it has maybe some issues there, but it did a good job of really, I don't know how else to put it, just being true to the characters, having a story that at least to an extent makes sense. But I don't know. What are your thoughts? Have you seen it yet? If so, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Take care. I'm Cody from the Keepers Nerdom. Bye.